Good evening. Welcome to the evening edition of From Day One. In the schedule, we'll have court today instead, starting with Law Talk with Mike.
Here's Legal Vices. Let me figure out how to do this. Are we on? Hello.
We are on. Hey, good morning over there.
Can you hear us? All right. So here's the deal, Mr. Legal Vices. It's Sean, right?
Jeff.
It's what?
Jeff.
Jeff?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. This happens all the time. Like, I know you, like we've hung out, but I know you as Legal Vices.
That's okay.
I'm sure
That's okay,
you're not
Doug.
Rolling around town saying, "Hi, my name's Legal."
Yeah. That's okay, Doug. We all make that mistake.
Yeah, at least I gave everybody a clue, which I suppose is stupid.
Yeah.
But my name is actually Mike. However, in the United States, saying Mike is just like saying guy, you know?
Yeah, we had 9 Jeffs in my 9th grade geometry class.
Yeah.
And it was literally Jeff 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 through 9.
All right. So I was actually doing this on purpose. It's nice we get a little preamble here, but of course I'm operating out of a hotel room. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing when I'm operating from my place. Let's start with that. But of course I set the thing for like 12 hours ahead or something. Because I'm on Pacific time. That shouldn't matter. Yeah, it really shouldn't matter. It does. I hate to say this, but when you're doing this, you have a setting, so it's still doing it by Central Time. So like, I really can't claim confusion over it. I mean, the problem is AM PM, and I didn't look. All right. Well, let's get this going. We got a fun one. We've got 2 of my favorite judges. Although, can you guys see me? Because I'm a little slow. That's the hotel Wi-Fi here.
People say that about me a lot too. I'm a little slow.
All right. Well, we've got 2 of my favorite judges, Jeff. We've got Jeffrey Middleton, and we've got Cedric Simpson. And yesterday, because I was flying, or the day before, whenever that was, all the defendants in the United States started acting up because they didn't think I was there to capture them. But no, I got them. And here they are. Let's get this party started here.
Court does call the case of the people of the state of Michigan versus Joseph DeTore.
Namish Ganatra, First Assistant Prosecuting Attorney for the People.
We're ready in that matter, Your Honor. Lauren Brown, Deputy Chief Public Defender, appearing on behalf of Mr. DeTore. Mr. DeTore, could you state your name for the record, please?
Joseph Anthony DeTore.
Your Honor, we were in the process of trying to resolve this matter. There has been a plea offer made to Mr. DeTore. If I could have a breakout room, he's in the Livingston County Jail. I'd be able to convey that to him.
He's going to start with the breakout room. Really?
Only because it's Livingston.
I know. I should.
Yeah. Judge Simpson hates the breakout room, and you'll see why. I mean,
I saw the video you did with the drunk lady with a towel on her head. That's what I watched this morning while I was getting ready for work. So I like this guy.
That's just you understand this. You're a creator. That's just pennies from heaven there. So a viewer sent that to me, and I'm like, oh, this is delicious. I got to run with this.
I like this judge.
I've called on Feaster. I really should have. Fine. Throw him into a breakout room. That's it. That's the only breakout room for the day. All right.
Promise not to ask.
Mess it up for your whole staff. Court calls the case. People versus Madron Austin.
Morning, Your Honor. Caitlin Kirby on behalf of the people.
Good morning, Miss Kirby. Oh, great. It's Mr. Brown.
Brown's case.
That went into the breakout room. See, this is why I don't do breakout rooms. Mr. Feaster, can you step in for Mr. Brown, or you don't want to on this one? Maybe not.
I have no problem assisting my great colleague, Judge Torshell Feaster, Assistant Public Defender on behalf of Mr. Austin. Ms. Kirby, were we seeking an adjournment on this file to your recollection?
This was a competency hearing, so Mr. Austin has been found competent and not able to use the defense of insanity for criminal responsibility. I believe
a week or two, that would be great.
What the? Do I have the wrong clip here?
Hearing no objection, July 7th, 2022, 9 a.m.
I think I had a little editing
Thank
issue there.
you, Ron.
Sorry, y'all.
Thank you, Bond. Bond, continue.
You, sir.
Court calls the case, the people versus Nicholas Tyler.
Okay, Nicholas looks like a fine, upstanding citizen.
Andrew Childers appearing on behalf of the people.
And good afternoon, Your Honor. For the record, Kevin Schneider on behalf of Mr. Tyler.
Oh my God!
Mr. Tyler, can you state your name, please, sir?
Yes, sir, Your Honor. My name is Nicholas A. Tyler.
All right. What are we doing today on this, folks?
Your Honor, I would request so I can talk to the prosecuting attorney in this matter. If we, the 21 days has already been waived in this matter, if we get to set this for another PCC on July 7th.
Hearing no objection, probable cause, July 7th.
With the new PayPal app, there are more ways for me to break up purchases with Pay in 4.
There are more ways for me to explore crypto with confidence.
And there are more ways to say thanks.
There are more ways to PayPal.
Jessica Blanche, appearing on behalf of people.
For the Fields Assistant Public Defender, appearing on behalf of Mr. Tucker. Mr. Tucker, can you...
The Assistant Public Defender on behalf of Ms. Wenzel.
Okay, I messed this all up. Let me get to the next clip.
Oh, I like that judge too.
The competency here.
I know it's awesome, but I don't know how I did this. But I've got the wrong clip attached for this. But it's okay. We'll go to the Judge Middleton clip. I added the wrong one to it, but we'll go to the Judge Middleton clip because this was other stuff I was looking at.
Is this the new norm? The way these types of hearings are handled in the States, or is this just sort of residuals left over from COVID, and they're going to start doing things in person again?
That's a fair question that everyone's asking. Right now, they have moved to Zoom, and on routine matters, they're sticking with it. At least in Chicago, where I practice, which I like.
You like it?
I mean,
I guess for logistics, I guess you would like it.
This is what I'm doing all day. I'm logging into Zoom, and then when I have something set for trial, then I suit up and go down to the Daily Center like a G.
But on Zoom, you can't bill for that travel time to and from the court.
I don't bill anybody. I'm on a contingency, so it's all good for me.
All right, stay home.
I right there with my little tie and my boxers, and I just roll.
If you're on contingency, do the least work possible for the most amount of money.
I can't believe I messed this up. Well, I can now. Let's be honest.
Matter 4, August 25th, 2022, 9 a.m. Bond will continue. All right. Thank you, Mr. Williams. Thank you.
Oh, I feel bad. I had a fun clip from him.
Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, or the dogs get it. Debbie's tried 3 difficult cases in 30 days. She tried the one here, she tried one in Cass County, and she did this. So she's been awfully busy. I haven't seen her much here.
Lucky you.
She's been busy. Else.
Okay, that's everybody will know that's they're talking about Deborah Davis, who's a buddy of mine, who's on my channel a lot. And
so are these Chicago judges, Chicago courts?
No,
here,
this is a Michigan courtroom.
Okay.
This is out in farm country, Michigan, St. Joseph County. The reason why I got onto this call is that they just always have interesting cases, and it's on YouTube.
Because I've seen Mrs. Middleton here before, and I think he's a pretty good judge.
Yeah. Come on. All right, here we go. An actual clip I meant to show.
September, I can see you and hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Just have a seat.
Okay.
Mr. Jones has just joined us, so we can.
Okay.
Let me call all these cases. There are 3 matters in the matter of People versus September and Knowles. File 211197 is a plea to operating while intoxicated, first offense. There are 2 driving suspended cases, 211175OT and 211198OT. Obviously, the matter of the most consequence is the operating while intoxicated charge. Ms. Knowles has been AWOL. There's been a warrant out for her arrest for failing to appear for an earlier sentence date. She got arrested 4 days ago and has 4 days credit. My inclination, Mr. Jones and Mr. Reed, is to just do 4 days jail credit, 4 days jail on 2 DWLS cases, and then deal with a more substantial case, the operating while intoxicated. Mr. Jones, you mentioned yesterday that you might want to take a minute to speak with September. Would you like me to put you in a breakout room so you can sort of get up to speed on what's going on with her?
Her name is September?
Yep.
September, I'm going to put you in a space where you can talk privately to Mr. Jones.
Okay, thank you.
Hit the button that says join. I'd also note Mr. Timothy Reed is the new attorney for the city of Three Rivers. Mr. Barnes has retired, and Mr. Reed is here on behalf of the city. So,
okay,
the button that says.
It's sad. I've seen so much of this court on YouTube, despite the fact that it's nowhere near me. That I know Mr. Barnes, and I'm like, oh, Mr. Barnes retired. It's like a little soap opera over there.
Mr. Jones looks tired already.
Oh yeah. And TJ Reed's a hoot. He is. I see these guys.
The HR guy from The Office.
Yeah.
Just like I've seen it all. I've done it all. I've had enough, and I don't even want to do this.
He's got a tough one here.
September.
What's going on? It's not playing.
Just join, and you and Becca can talk.
Oh, September's on the move.
All right, we're back. Can you hear me, Miss Knowles?
Yes, Mr. Middleton, Judge Middleton.
All right, well, we're ready to go.
It's happening. August 31st, Publishers Clearinghouse will be ready to award the $5,000 a week forever prize.
Middleton.
All right, well, we're ready to go. We've got 3 cases to deal with, 2 driving suspended cases, and a drinking driving case. As I indicated, I'm going to take care of the driving suspendeds first. 1175, I'm going to order 4 days credit, 4 days, leaving 0 days to serve. I'm going to waive the fines and costs concurrent with the other cases.
Well, that's very generous.
Let me know when I can talk so I can, my attorney's here too.
Yes.
I'm
And
just,
the other
I'm aware.
charge suspended 1198.
Advice, let your attorney talk. Don't say
4
anything.
days, credit 4 days, leaving 0 days to serve. And waive the fines and costs concurrent with the other case and the drinking.
Very
driving
lenient, it
case.
seems like.
Yeah, he's
So we
a nice
got
judge.
those matters done. Now it brings us to the operating while intoxicated case, which is file 211197. It's been a long time to get to this point, to the sentence. Mr. Beckett Jones is here on behalf of the defendant. Mr. Jones, what would you like me to know?
There's a few things I'd like to go over here, Your Honor. Obviously, the most recent issues with failure to appear. I know there was a question of whether she was picked up or whether she was arrested by police or whether she turned in voluntarily, I should say.
Beckett, something's up with your mic. I can't hear you real well.
For whatever reason, my computer with Zoom doesn't like it as much. I'll try to speak up. Is that a little bit better? Okay. So the issue I know from the court's perspective most recently was whether she got picked up, whether she turned in voluntarily. My understanding is that she did get picked up. I know from talking to her in the past, and the last time I talked to her prior to getting picked up was a couple weeks prior, as well as talking to her today, that she indicates she was making plans to turn herself in voluntarily. She is dealing with a mother who, to my knowledge, has a broken hip, maybe even 2 broken hips. She's dealing with that.
Grab this car, sweep them up out here.
So she's struggling with that. I think she's also trying to make sure that she's making various appointments, I think court and otherwise related to her children at present. I know she wants to get from point A to point B. Her and I talked again most recently before this court date, approximately 2 weeks ago. I had also been having conversations with Mr. Reed around that time. During those conversations, I specifically brought up the possibility of sobriety court again. I understand that Mr. Frazine and the court may be very skeptical about the possibility of that even at this point. But I can tell you that through both conversations 2 weeks ago, ish, as well as today, she's expressed interest in it. And interest in it from the perspective of, I think there is finally some acknowledgement that there's an issue there. You can read through Mr. Frazine's report, which I also read to my client, and note that at the time that she was seen by Mr. Frazine, that there was clearly not an acknowledgement of a problem. There was clearly not an acknowledgement that there was a substance abuse issue and or a mental health issue. I think that view has changed. I think she understands that she's struggling. I think she understands that the way from point A to point B is going to be with help. And I do think at this point that the help would be accepted. I'm not indicating that the court is in a position where it wants to extend the hand anymore. I am asking the court to consider extending the hand. I understand and have reviewed the recommendations as far as jail time is concerned. Notes the guidelines for related to the actual OWI is 31 to 47 days jail, and the overall recommendation for Mr. Frazine at 93 days jail. She is trying to get work right now. She does have various medical appointments related to herself, her mother, and I believe she has court appointments and otherwise related to her children. I am asking the court to consider if jail is going to be imposed a lesser time than even the 31 to 47 days jail. While I say that, I do understand that Ms. Knowles has warned the patient pretty thin of the court. I do think she wants to make some changes, though.
Come on, guy, put some inflection in your voice.
To do so. She's a highly intelligent person. I've learned that through my time with her. But she needs some people around her to push her in the right direction.
Yeah.
And, you know, an attorney can only go so far there. I think probation agents, the people that are, experts with sobriety issues, substance abuse issues, and mental health issues are going to be appropriate in this particular case.
Well, he just knows. You'll see it gets worse. He just knows it's tough. He's doing a good job under the circumstances, but his client hasn't left him a lot of room.
He's making good arguments. I mean,
right.
When I was in law school doing in Utah, we had a 3rd-year practice rule when you can do like a practicum at the public defender's office or the needy civil clinic. And this was one case that I did as a 3rd year. He was a repeat offender. It was a guy that he would have a job. He would get drunk. He would get arrested. He would lose his job. That would make him more depressed. He would get drunk again. And it was this repeating cycle. And you had to get into the creative sentencing. And I get what Jones is going here. Get an alternative sentencing, because just arresting them for being drunk is not solving the problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's making good arguments, but you say it's not an easy road for him here.
Yeah, he's doing what he can under the circumstances, but he knows the factors, and it's a tough place to be. Come on.
Well, let's see what the factors are.
I hit play. I don't know what's going on here.
You're in a hotel. That's where the problem is.
Is this going to take off again? Well,
that's what you get for pausing the video.
Apparently.
If it's working, don't touch it.
I didn't know that was part of the deal here.
Addiction. Mr. Frazine's report. This is her 3rd OWI offense.
It's her 4th.
Fourth, excuse me. And so obviously my predecessor, who was a city attorney, gave her a pretty good deal on this in this respect to making this only, allowing her to plead to a first, not sending it to the prosecutor. Obviously, Mr. Jones did a good job for his client by limiting her exposure to 93 days. She would have been facing a 5-year felony, and Mr. Jones knows that. So obviously her representation that she received, I believe, was top notch in limiting that exposure. As an attorney, your job is to help your client the best you can. I think Mr. Jones has attempted to do that, as well as limiting their exposure and trying to get them help. My concern with probation is if she doesn't respect the court enough to even show up and turn herself in with the threat of a bench warrant and that being out there, she's not going to listen to Mr. Frazine. She's not going to listen to the counselors. Ultimately, I hope Ms. Knowles figures out how to become sober to right the ship. I do believe Mr. Jones is correct that, she has tools in the toolbox to do that, but the court can't force somebody to get sober if they're not ready and they don't want to get sober. And everybody says they want to get sober and they're ready when they're facing the barrel of a 93-day jail sentence. And I understand that. At this point, I think it's a hardship on the court and on the probation department to put her on probation, because we're going to be back here multiple times, Your Honor, for probation violations, or other types of issues. When you're summoned to court to show up with the threat of a bench warrant and you don't show up and you essentially abscond, albeit probably in plain sight. I'm not saying that it was that she took off to the corners, dark corners. I mean, I believe she was in plain sight. I don't dispute any of that. But to expect probation then to chase her down and then to have the court have to issue a bench warrant and then we have to come back in. Again, whether it's 93 days, whether it's 60 days, whether it's the 47 days, I'm not sure there's a magic formula. Number one, none of them are going to make her sober. We know that. I think if the court could jail time, impose sobriety through jail time, the court would do that. However, there is a consequence for the action. There's also the protection of society. On a 4th OWI, she's lucky she hasn't been killed or somebody else hasn't been killed or injured driving under the influence, and she doesn't have a driver's license. So she can't get insurance. And so all of these other things that if she hits somebody,
catastrophic, families could be catastrophically impacted financially because there's no resources for Ms. Knowles to pay a judgment or to pay damages that she causes. So I don't think probation's appropriate. I do believe a straight jail sentence is probably the most logical resource here. And when the court's attempting to force sobriety on somebody only having 93 days to work with on a probation, and I say only, it's a long time, but the reality is she'll get good time on all the time she serves. So I believe that a straight jail sentence is the most appropriate here.
Now, there's alcohol in
somewhere
jail.
between 60 and 93 days. Thank you.
Is there?
Should get
All
Pruno
right,
and
Ms. Knowles, this is your opportunity to tell me what you want me to know, and then we'll hear from Daniel. First of all, well, I'll let you speak, and then I have a few questions for you.
Okay, first off, Judge Middleton, all I did was simply pull my vehicle out of the driveway. My landlord was at my house mowing my lawn. I pay him to mow my lawn, and I was moving it out of the way, and I got the lights flicked on behind me. Yes, I shouldn't have moved it, and yes, I'm very aware of what I did wrong. Also, I want you to know that I had my dates wrong. I thought court was 2 days later because I had so many court dates going on, and that is the God honest truth. I was not trying to abscond court. I would never do that, Jeff. I promise. I swear to you. And if you would please honor me this drug court, give me this opportunity. I want it. I need it. I need it for my kids. I've been going to their games. I have a written letter through Pomerica through job interviews. I've been to several different places. Jail is not where I need to be. I want drug court. I have a house and I have other responsibilities, and I need to meet those responsibilities, and I will not let my probation officer down. I swear wholeheartedly that I had the dates wrong. And when I spoke to Jones, I was very disappointed in myself because I thought my father and I, we were dressed and ready for court, and they told me that court was already, we already had court. I sincerely apologize, but I will write it. I will put it in my iPhone. I will put it on my refrigerator. I will give it to productive members that are in my life. I will keep that paper on me, and I will be at court, and I will not waste your time, Your Honor. I will not waste Mr. Reed's time or my attorneys, anyone's. I am begging you to please give me this opportunity. I've asked you and I need it. I'm ready for it. Please.
Well, I gave you the date here. You've missed 5 times or 6 times failed to appear on the correct date in this.
These court dates were wrong. I've called the clerk's office and they told me instead of I was there at 11. They told me, okay.
She's talking like it's one time.
You missed multiple dates. I kept doing bench warrants. You waltzed in here one afternoon and said, well, hello, here I am. And I said, you have bench warrants. On this last occasion, we had struggled to get you here. Mr. Barnes was so frustrated. Mr. Jones was frustrated. Mr. Jones logged in during his vacation, and we're all here twiddling our thumbs, and you didn't show up. So when the plea entered on May 25th, I said September, our next date, on April 25th, is May 23rd. When you met with Daniel, it was May 23rd. And you didn't show up. I tried to call your number. No one answered the phone. So I issued a bench warrant for your arrest. My sense is you just panicked. I don't know. But anyway, you didn't come the next day or the day after that or the day after that. Your house on Millard Street, I drive past it when I go to Mass. It's down the street from the Catholic Church.
This is bad. He knows everybody and everything.
Every time I drive past your house, I'd see a car there. Who has the little Ford Explorer?
Oh no!
Oh yeah, the judge is getting into it.
Ford Explorer. I don't have a Ford Explorer.
Yeah,
Judge
one of your side guys
Who
does.
has the red Jeep?
Oh, geez.
There is no red Jeep.
He's not playing.
Well, anyway, so I thought, well, she'll turn herself in a day or two, and we'll deal with this. Well, you didn't, and you didn't. And I said, will someone go serve this warrant so we can get this case back on track?
Just drop in on
You
your way
didn't
to
get
mass.
arrested until almost 30 days later. How did you come to get arrested?
I'm sorry.
When you got picked up the other day, how did you get arrested?
For this hearing, I had every intentions to turn myself in. I had a written letter and an interview, and I had my mom with 2 broken hips, and I have been in and out of the hospital. And I have.
Sunday.
That's why you were hammered.
I guess.
Okay.
Who arrested?
It sounds like she pledged to turn herself in.
I believe it was Tilborn.
Yes.
All right, where at?
At my residency. I was outside.
Residency.
All right, they came to your house and arrested you there.
Yes, sir.
All right.
She doesn't have a trailer park. She has a
I hear
residence.
that twice a week. I was just going to turn myself in.
No, but I really was going to. I was trying to get my mom set up at a hospital, and I was trying to make sure I had this job lined, and I just wanted to get my ducks in a row before, and I was coming. I swear, and I am begging you on everything. Would you please trust me? I will not let you down. I will not let Mr. Reed down or my attorney Jones. I paid him well. I will not do this. It was not intentional. I've had my plate full, and I'm very, very, very sorry. Please, I'm begging you.
That was only 3
please.
varies. 4 varies at least.
Yeah,
Daniel, what's your thought here? Let me zoom out. Daniel Frazine has drawn this case, and he's been very frustrated, like the rest of
Daniel.
us.
I apologize.
You didn't even hardly get to square one. She indicates that she was just moving her car. What started this is the towing company called and said this lady asked for a jump, and then they did it, and she didn't want to pay for it. And then she denied that any of that even happened. But as you know, he videotapes everything. So what's your take here, Daniel?
Well, I think that Mr. Jones and Mr. Reed did a good job on summarizing some of the difficulties in this situation. Unfortunately, I had to deal with Miss Knowles and her
the guy in the courtroom.
She's been struggling for a lot of years. She's had, this is really like 8 or 9 alcohol-related offenses, so this isn't a new thing.
I think it's
unfortunately, like if we were to rewind what she said today, along with her behavior and everything else today, it would be the exact same thing that I had to deal with on, I think, like 5 or 6 probation violations. Ms. Reed is absolutely correct. I would be chasing her around. She is not ready to change. She does nothing but deflection. Her patterns are habitual and pathological. She will look you straight in the face and tell you what you want to hear, a bald-faced lie, and that I think is part of the addiction. She is very intelligent. She has a lot of potential, but she is not ready to elicit any change in her life. And she can't even admit to the facts of she basically had somebody come out and work on her car, and she tried to rip them off and drive down the road. And her whole thing is, I just pulled out. No, the officer actually called you down the road, pulled you over, and she can't admit to that. If she can't admit to that, then she's not going to be able to engage. She's not going to be able to engage successfully in treatment that is going to help her.
I didn't see the police officer is not a valid excuse.
So I just believe that to keep the society safe for 93 days is about the best we can do at this point. That's my recommendation, Your Honor.
All right.
Nobody even worked on my vehicle.
They came and jumped it.
Right, and he just went into his truck and left, and I had my purse. that's what, because my keys were locked into it and I needed something out of my vehicle. I was mowing my lawn. I was push mowing it that day. And I know the gentleman who jumped my vehicle. He used to work at the meat market in Ottawa that the Shark Trans owned.
Is that a stripper club? The meat market?
All right.
It's a good name.
September.
Wow.
I am begging you.
Stop. The target is over here. You're shooting over here somewhere. Let's figure out what we're dealing with. You have 3 MIPs and an open intox. 3 previous drunk driving convictions. So this is your 4th drunk driving charge, as Daniel said, about 8 or 9 cases. And today you suddenly realize you have an alcohol problem. And even then, you've got an excuse for everything. It wasn't this, it wasn't this, it wasn't this. I don't know who gets drunk and mows their lawn on a hot day in June, but you were very disoriented with the record driver. They called the police. The police did do a little bit of a follow. I looked at it. I looked at the map. I know where you live. You were driving on a public road.
I wasn't even.
Stop.
I apologize.
You've got.
It's hard to hear you.
All right. You got, in addition to 3 MIPs and an open intox and 3 previous drunk driving convictions.
Wow.
You have 14 driving suspended charges, including one you got in April when you drove from your house to Centerville, and you got another citation in April that we have to deal with while you were on bond for this. You continued to drive. Your license has been suspended for many years, and I was sort of dumbfounded when I counted them all up, adding in Jackson and Kalamazoo County and some other counties. You got 3 retail frauds and 1 domestic violence charge.
Ouch.
And the disorderly person charge that was dismissed. 3 days before this, you got a driving suspended and refused to take a preliminary breath test.
Oh.
Those were resolved. This is your 4th drunk driving charge and your 15th driving suspended charge.
I don't.
And it's always a big misunderstanding. It's a mistake, and you've always got a solution right around the corner. We had, when you first got charged with this, back in June of 21, I said, oh, what about finally getting September into sobriety court?
Yes.
And considered it. The vote of the sobriety court team right now is unanimous no. No one on the sobriety court team wants you in sobriety court for the very reasons Mr. Reed detailed and Mr. Frazine detailed. You never show up. You never do what you're requested or ordered.
I will take the transportation bus and I will be there. I have to do this for my little.
Even her lawyer's like,
putting
oh,
you in
God.
Sobriety court. You've burned too many bridges. I was an advocate for it until you failed to show up 5 times for your court proceeding.
And here's where you know
got
you're not
charged with
leaving
driving
jail.
suspended again while you were on the bond on this case. And now that you've got 8 prior driving or alcohol charges, you suddenly realize you have an alcohol problem. I'm not sure how much is alcohol and how much is other issues, not other
Bad
drugs,
driving.
but just a mental incapacity to face the truth. Yeah, you keep doing bad stuff, something happens, something bad happens. There's a consequence. You got cited on 3 days before this for driving suspended, and I don't know why you wouldn't take a PBT, but you didn't get charged with an alcohol offense. And then on June 9th, there you are again. I don't know what you were doing. He kept saying you had to go get your son, or you had to find your son or something. And they thought you were quite disoriented.
No, I was trying to get in contact with my son. I wasn't disoriented. I don't understand. I really wish you would just see my point of view. I'm not going to waste my probationer's time. I really want drug court. I really do not need to be in here. I have a little one, and I have an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old. I really need, please.
Yes, you need to get your life in order.
I have a house to maintain. I can't lose, and I just got all of that straightened out, and I'm trying, everything is civil with that. I'm trying to help my mom who has 2 broken hips. I've been in and out of the hospital myself because I learned that I had another disc torn in my back, and I've had a MRI. I've had to get dental work done. I've had other things going on, and my plate has been full. I've had so many appointments, this and that.
September, listen to your attorney for a second.
Yeah, this isn't helping. You're just digging your hole deeper. You're not accepting the consequence for your 4th drunk driving arrest and your 15th driving suspended arrest. So I'm not going to pat you on the head and say, don't do this anymore. Plus, you failed to appear 5 times. And the most recent time, you give me some lame excuse about having an incorrect date when I gave you eyeball to eyeball the correct date. Then you never bothered to turn yourself in. I said to Mr. Jones, the longer she waits, the more likely it is she's going to get a lengthy jail sentence. He couldn't find you either. You were ghosted. You're going to do 70 days jail, credit 5.
Oh my God.
Well, we could make it 93 if you'd like that better.
No.
Shut up.
All right. You've earned this sentence you're about to receive. You've burned the bridges with everybody that would trust you or rely on your representations. You still have another driving suspended charge we have to deal with. So the ship finally landed and landed on you as a consequence of 20 years worth of violating the law. So I understand. I don't get any joy out of the things you have going on in your life, but so does everybody else. It's like, I don't have time to go to jail when I commit crimes because I'm busy. I got other obligations.
Nobody got time for that.
I'm going to waive the fine and costs. There's a $75 crime victims' rights fee and a $50 state minimum fee. You owe $75
Well, that's 5 bottles of whiskey.
To brokers towing.
I had my purse in my hand. He just got in and drove off.
Shut up.
All right. Well,
He said he was working, so it was 8 o'clock, and he was already past the time, and he just took off.
We're not relitigating cases, so just.
I understand. Yeah. I just
September. It's not going to help.
I'm just going to mute her microphone. She and I are.
Poor Beckett. He's like, what do you want me to do?
And a Venusian. She wants me to understand her. I want her to understand me. I'm trying to understand her, and she's not trying to understand me. I don't want you on probation. The sobriety court team doesn't want to attempt to work with you. We would have, but it isn't, as Daniel and TJ both said, it isn't going to be productive. So let's add that up. 152.25. I didn't do a screening fee. Was there a police reimbursement, Daniel?
The report notes that.
I did not see one.
All right. 225, make that due by October 1st. Autumn, we're not done, or September, we're not done yet because you've got that new driving suspended charge we're gonna be dealing with from April. Mr. Jones doesn't represent you in that matter, but I'm not sure where that is. It's probably set for a pretrial or something. I don't know what else to say. You'll get good time calculated in there.
Thank you, Dilly Dave.
Alrighty, thank you, Mike, for that, and that'll bring the evening dial to a close. Art Felony overnight. Until then, like, share, and subscribe, be kind to one another, and release the Kraken. We march this evening and every evening here from day one. Have a great evening. We'll see you in the overnight.